around 2 years ago, I had this idea. I wanted to share wisdom at a pace we wanted entertainment. I wanted to share wisdom in a way that it could connect, resonate, and deeply evolve the lives of people all over the world. For 10 years before that, I'd been working with individuals, groups, coaching at universities, companies, and all of these opportunities, but I really wanted to serve and connect with everyone across the world. I wanted to make wisdom accessible to anyone who had one of these.
I have one of those!
So I was excited, I had the energy, the enthusiasm, and I was pitching my idea to every single company that was online. Now remember, this is before I ever made a single video, before any of you knew who I was.
Who's this guy?
I applied to not 10, not 20, but 30 online media companies, hoping that one of them would like my series idea. I waited a day, I waited 2 days, I waited a week. I was rejected by every single one of those companies before interview. None of them invited me for a phone interview. None of them invited me for a video interview. None of them even connected with me in any personal way.
That's rude.
I said to myself, it doesn't matter. Let's see what else I can do to try and make my goal a reality.
What else you got?
So I tried to network with people who may be able to give me a chance. I got one answer and one answer only. They said, you're getting older now. Most of the people who want to break into this industry are around 21 years old. Just don't worry about it. Other people said to me, look, you need to go get a media and journalism degree or a master's and then we'll take you seriously. Literally, I was getting rejected from every single person I spoke to. But inside of me, I had this desire, I had this calling, I had this mission, I had this vision that I wanted to share everything that I had learned with people out there. I genuinely tried every single possible method I could to break into the media industry, to the point that the only thing that was left that I could try was to start a social media channel. And of course, you know the rest. The most incredible thing is that it reminds me of a really powerful thought from Thomas Edison. He once said, when you believe you've exhausted all options, remember this, you haven't. That thought stayed in my mind the whole time. What I learned from all of this rejection, from all of this failure, from all of these clear no's, was one really important thing. And today, I want to give that as a gift to you.
Me?
If you have a dream, you have an idea, you have a vision, we have to take the responsibility to prove our worth before we expect anyone to value our talent. When I started crafting and creating my own videos, teaching myself how to edit, learning how to produce, understanding the mechanics of social media, when I started putting my energy into that space, that's when people started to take notice. That's when people started to listen. That's when things started to happen.
This is nice.
It's when I decided to take the responsibility for sharing what I was passionate about with the world and not waiting for someone external to validate me or give me permission or allow me to do that. That's what made the difference. If you're feeling you've been going through a lot of rejections, ask yourself this. Is your deeper passion and calling making you want to move further? Number 2, have you truly knocked on every single door? And number 3, are you working hard on investing in your expertise and passion so that you really have something impactful to offer? There's a famous 2008 study in which monkeys were placed in glass cages side by side and prompted with the simple task of handing the scientists a pebble. In exchange for correctly following instructions, one of the monkeys was handed a cucumber as a reward, which she was perfectly happy to accept until she noticed that the other monkey received a grape, i.e. a sweeter, yummier treat. Shocked over this inequality, she literally threw that cucumber at the scientist and rattled her cage in protest. As Theodore Roosevelt once wisely said, comparison really is the thief of joy. And yet it feels impossible to avoid. It's in equal measure primal as displayed by the monkeys as it is destructive. It's that controversial fire that ignites conversations everywhere from YouTube comments to Instagram comments about relationships, careers, online dating through to body image. From the size of our bank balances, to the size of our cars, to the size of our homes, to the length of our resumes. It seems like we're addicted to comparison, and it's just not good for us. The interesting thing is, we've always compared ourselves. Now it's just amplified and magnified. Social media has given us access to comparison 24/7. We used to only hear about the successes and failures of people we personally knew. Now we hear about everyone all of the time. Not only that, but we all know we only share the best parts, making everyone else feel like they're not being enough, doing enough, or living enough. So just because someone's life, job, body, car, whatever it is, looks better on social media, doesn't mean they aren't dealing with their own problems and insecurities. So instead of wishing that our Instagram profiles have more likes, followers, and adventure, we can focus on building more memories. FOMO doesn't exist because we're not happy with what we're doing. It's because we think someone is happier with what they're doing. Research has found that comparison breeds envy, low self-esteem, low confidence, depression, anxiety, and even makes us lose trust in the people close to us. So it's pretty simple. Unfollow the accounts that don't make you feel good. Spend less time on apps and your devices. Don't wake up and go to sleep with the phone in your hand. I know it's ironic because you're hearing this through a screen. But choose to follow the messages and the accounts that bring you alive. Comparison really breeds competition and makes you miss out on collaboration. Remember, your competition isn't other people. Your competition is your procrastination, your ego, the unhealthy food you're consuming, the knowledge you neglect, the negative behavior you're nurturing, and the lack of creativity. Compete against that. The only thing you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. A businessman was rushing down the street because he was late for a meeting. It was a really important one and he wanted to make it there on time. It was at that moment that this other man bumped into him and made him spill all of his coffee all over his brand new suit. Now, not only was he late for this important meeting, but he was also covered in coffee. He was totally furious, frustrated, and angry, but what could he do? Now, if we ask this simple question, why did he spill the coffee? The obvious answer is because someone walked into him, someone who wasn't paying attention bumped into him. And that's the wrong answer. The real answer is he spilled coffee because that's what was in his cup. If he had tea in his cup, he would have spilled tea. If he had orange juice in his cup, he would have spilled orange juice. If he had water in his cup, he would have spilled water. Whatever is inside our cup is what will spill out. When life will come and shake us, rattle us, or push us, which is inevitable, it's what we're holding on to or what's inside of us that spills over. And when that happens, what comes out could be anger, frustration, pressure, or stress. Or it could be forgiveness, joy, and empathy. So we have to ask ourselves, what's in our cups? When life gets tough, what spills over? Is it gratitude, healing, kindness, and compassion? Or is it negativity, toxic feelings and beliefs, and pain? When things are going smoothly, we're not even aware of what we're holding on to or what's inside of us. Sometimes we don't even recognize and identify something until we're shaken, until something negative happens. Today, let's be proactive. Let's start by filling our cups with forgiveness, kindness, and empathy, so that when we're shaken, that's what will come out. This isn't a letter of complaint. It's a proposal to be understood. We're told the movies we watched gave us warped ideas of reality. We're told our participation trophies ruined us. We're told we're losing traditions. We're getting married too late. We aren't having enough kids. We're pursuing too much higher education. We're going into too much debt. We just aren't getting it right. We're told we've ruined department stores. We've ruined bookstores. We've ruined the housing market. We've ruined everything, it seems. We're tired of being a scapegoat. We're tired of being blamed for the way the world is when we barely came of age to see what the world holds. We barely got full-time jobs before we were getting blamed for not having a good work ethic. We're doing the best we can with what we've been given. And we get blamed for being guinea pigs of experiments we never asked for. We get blamed for trying and succeeding when it wasn't the success they had in mind. We get blamed for using different words than they're used to and desiring different jobs than they had access to. But we're just trying to survive in a world that's forever changing. Our generation is the first of its kind, children of the internet, young adults with the world literally in our hands. We're tired of getting blamed for being lazy when the job market is out of our control. We're tired of getting blamed for how we spend our money when we never judged anyone for how they spend theirs. We're tired of getting blamed for the things we cherish, the things we value, for the simple reason they aren't the same. We're tired of being blamed for being irresponsible adults when we were never given the opportunity to fail. We get blamed for being the generation of participation trophies, but who handed out the medals? We get blamed for not knowing how to lose, but who demanded us to win? They say we don't speak up enough, but when we do, they don't like what we have to say. They say we don't understand the real world, but they don't like the world we're trying to create. They claim we don't understand, but maybe we've been trying to explain ourselves. They claim we don't listen, but maybe they aren't used to our ways of communication. They claim we don't show up, but maybe they're looking in the wrong places. We live in an incredible time where the greatest need is for us to work together, to build together, think together, create together. And remember, if you feel judged, targeted, or blame, use that energy to become the change. If you feel limited, choose to be limitless. If you feel put down, use that as a way to stand up. We're tired of getting blamed for living wrongly when we're living differently. We're tired of being blamed by other generations because at the end of the day, we need each other.
You all right?
I wanted to go for brunch on Saturday, so I was thinking we could book something. There's this really nice restaurant.
Yeah.
I thought we could go.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. 20 minutes. Pen?
Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. See you later, yeah?
Bye.
Okay. Yeah,
Love
okay.
you.
Be there.
Mr. Clark, is that Mr. Daniel Clark?
Yeah.
This is Dr. Cohen from Kensington and Chelsea Hospital.
Yeah.
Calling to inform you that this morning your wife was involved in a serious road incident. She passed away en route to the hospital, and I regret to say there was absolutely nothing more we could have done.
I hope this never happens to anyone, but the harsh truth is that it does. Often we're so engrossed in our work that we forget to value, appreciate, and recognize those that we're actually working for. We get so wrapped up in our own lives that we forget the people that make up our life. I know people who regret the last words they said, and others who never really got to share how they genuinely feel. Whatever is taken for granted will eventually be taken away. That's when we end up missing the most the person that we least appreciated. Because we never think the last time will be the last time. We think we have more, but we don't. Focus on those that you really love.
So I was born with a genetic condition called cystic fibrosis. My parents were told that I wasn't going to live past 12 years old.
And I went in for about 3 interviews and I was so confident this was the one. And I didn't get it. That was really hard.
For the longest time, I'd also wanted to be a dad, and I'm gay, so it's not like I could be 16 and pregnant in the backseat of a Chevy or something.
Over 400 people came. I was one of 10 girls that got called back. He picked everybody in front of who he wanted, and he didn't pick me, and I was like, wow, I've worked my butt off for this.
So here we were, newly married, and I didn't have a job.
But it was a time when there wasn't very much support in regards to women's rights.
I was playing mud football with a bunch of my friends. My kneecap got severely dislocated, and I ended up having to have surgery, and it was really a terrifying time for me.
She read the script, I got it back. Every single page had notes on it. This is the rejection part. You should take writing classes. You're not funny.
I remember the x-ray technician saying to me, you need to be checked into the hospital immediately.
Everything is supposed to be golden. It was a business school, and I went to an Ivy League business school, and I just was like devastated from not having anything happening and seeing all friends, things happen for them.
I know it's hard to understand right now, but every delay has a blessing. By the time we're 30, we're expected to have everything figured out. But when we're still failing, getting rejected and pushbacks, we realize life doesn't work like that. Often what appears as a curse can be our biggest blessing. Every breakdown can be a breakthrough. Every failure can be a step forward. This man played Severus Snape in Harry Potter. He studied graphic design before drama, going back to school to follow his passion at the age of 26. That was in 1972. He got his first BBC role in 1978. His first film role? Not until 1988, when he was 42 years old. His name is Alan Rickman. And this person, prior to publishing the first entry in the series, this person was a single mother on welfare and almost suicidal. During this time, she wrote Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone while looking into becoming a teacher. She was also dealing with an ex-husband and all the challenges of being a single mother. She, of course, is J.K. Rowling. Remember this, someone graduated at 21 but waited 6 years to get a job. Someone had no education but was a millionaire at 21. Someone got married at 20 but divorced 5 years later. Someone got married at 35 but found everlasting love. It's not about being quick, instant, or now. It's about your timing. Something may be delayed, it may even be denied, but it doesn't die unless you let it. Every delay has a blessing if you keep going.
I just kept writing. And then I think less than 1 year later, I got an Emmy nomination for co-writing an episode of Seinfeld. That opened up my career.
I then went on to run a production company for like almost 20 years or so. We won an Emmy Award.
I became the cultural coordinator and then the production manager of the public television network of the state. And then I was hired by a 4A agency as a vice president, and then I opened my own agency.
There's no statistic and there's no number for someone's desire to fight or someone's fight inside of them.
So maybe I wasn't the right person for that particular job, but he remembered me for another job.
A year later, I found myself at the starting line of a sprint triathlon, and all told, I ended up doing over 50 races, including 4 Ironman distance races.
And then with my son and having a kid, I mean, I just didn't think that was just not gonna happen, and it did.
Empathy and gratitude is what makes me want to help other people, because I know what they're going through. You remember your donor, and you honor them by helping others.
And I believe that your mind definitely affects you if you're not in that mindset to stay positive, especially when you're challenged with an illness.
And everything that you're going through right now, no matter how painful and how hard it is for you to get through, you'll get through it, and you'll be stronger because of it.
You know your dream is your dream. How do you go after something that you don't know if it's actually meant for you or not?
Great question. I think the number one thing to do is to build the mini dream first. So before trying to go off on this huge journey of building this humongous dream, build the mini version of it and see what it feels like. So if you want to be someone who travels across the world and performs, travel to one city and perform. If you want to be someone who's in movies, go and film a short movie, right? Like, go and build the mini version of that dream, because that mini dream is going to teach you so much. Like, I'll give you an example. I know so many people who say to me, I want to be an actor. And I'll be like, okay, great. Well, let's make a short movie. And when they make a short movie and they realize they're up at 5 a.m. every day, and that they're in the studio or on a set till 10 p.m. and they realize the set is not very glamorous, that they realize they have to say the same line 30 times before the director says that line is okay, they realize they don't want to be actors anymore. Because what we've fallen in love with is what the dream looks like and not what the dream is. So my biggest advice to anyone, including myself, has always been build the mini dream, and the mini dream will teach you everything you need to know about whether you're ready for the big dream. It's the same as sports. If you want to be a sports player, wake up at 4 a.m. every day, go to the gym for 2 hours a day. Like, do the actual schedule, do the actual process of the person who's already doing it. So I always say, look at what people were doing when they were at your age, not on the stage they're at now. And do that and see whether you love that. That's how you figure it out, just on a very small level. This year on the Forbes Rich List at number 5 is Mark Zuckerberg with an estimated worth of $71 billion. American business investor Warren Buffett sits at the 3rd spot with $84 billion. The Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates is at the number 2 spot with $90 billion. And number 1 is none other than Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, at $112 billion.
Wow, that's a lot.
I believe that wealth is beautiful and brilliant. It can do incredible things in the world when used to make a difference. When we use any wealth that we have to make an impact, to use it to make an influence, to help, serve, and support the lives of others. But today, I want to talk to you about a different type of rich list.
There's more than one.
One of my favorite teachings about wealth has been this. You can tell how rich you are by counting the amount of things you have that money cannot buy. There's a beautiful quote by Jim Carrey where he says, I believe that everyone should become rich, famous, and achieve everything they want just to realize that it's not the point.
That would be nice.
Real wealth, inner wealth, fulfillment, satisfaction, meaning and purpose is a rich list that every single one of us can have and be on. I want you to take a moment to make a list of the things you have that money cannot buy. Maybe it's a beautiful family. Maybe it's an incredible partner. Maybe it's a passion and a drive that you recently found and discovered for yourself. Maybe it's a recent experience that you had that wasn't really about where you were, but more about who you were with and what you were thinking about. The reason why I'm focusing on this rich list is because this list is something we often forget. It's not on the front page of a magazine. It's not inside the newspapers. It's not on the list online. But this list is one that you can look at every single day to remind yourself how fortunate, how grateful, and how incredible your life truly is.